Hello everybody, this is going to be a tutorial on how to learn the Fridrich method. It will include each step of the Fridrich method, how you should learn the algorithms, and how you should practice those algorithms. This is just a snazzy little intro kind of thing to give you a little slight introduction to what I will be teaching you. Right here, there will be a list of annotations and subtitles with the different sections of this tutorial. So if you want to learn about the F2L, let's say, you click on the link over there that says F2L, and then you go to the F2L step. Hopefully this will be fun, and hopefully you'll learn a lot from it. This is the cross section of the Fridrich tutorial. The cross is considered by most, and rightfully so, to be the easiest part of solving the 3x3 Rubik's Cube. All you have to do is place the 4 edge pieces around their correct center, and have them match up with the centers adjacent to your original center. Now, while this is the easiest, it is also quite tricky to be able to do that in the fewest moves possible while looking ahead to your first F2L pair. Now, I have one method of practicing the cross, as well as a few other tips and tricks. The first thing that you should know, and you can be linked to this information in Bad Mephisto's website, is that every cross can be solved in 8 moves or less. The average cross can be solved in about 7 moves. So this is something to be thinking about when you are practicing your cross. And this is also the step that you should be looking at during your 15-second inspection time. So, another tip that I can give you is a way to orient a bad edge. This edge is in its correct spot, but not flipped correctly. So, a quick finger trick that you can do to fix this is to hold it on the right side, do R prime, small u, R prime, small u prime, and that will flip it back. It's very fast to perform and works very well. Now, how to practice your cross. Practicing the cross is more of a time consumer than learning new things. You don't have to learn very much. So here, let me scramble my cube. Now I have scrambled my cube. And to practice the cross, I would definitely recommend doing it blindfolded. Take as much time as you need to inspect the cube and plan out your cross. There are 2 ways to do this. The first way is to just memorize where the pieces are and how they're oriented. Then when you blindfold yourself and start to solve your cross, you just track them in your head while solving it. The other method is to plan out your moves in advance. So, when you're going to move this blue piece over here to match with its center, doing a D prime, you then start to look ahead to your next step. Then I might want to do an R2 to get the red piece in. This piece would then be here, you pull it out, insert it over there, etc. So, using one of those 2 methods, or both if you prefer, you can easily get the cross blindfolded. Now, why would you want to learn it blindfolded? Learning to do the cross blindfolded will not only help your speed and the fewest moves possible, because memorizing the fewer moves, the faster you'll get it, etc., is that in real solves, you can be solving the cross blindfolded while looking ahead to your first and maybe second F2L pairs. So now I will do an example of how to solve this cross blindfolded. The way I do it is by tracking the pieces around in my mind. So we have this piece here that only needs a D prime. This piece only needs an R2. And once I perform that D prime and R2, this piece will be right here with orange still on the center. So all I'll need to do is do an RU R prime to bring it up to here, and then I insert it with an L2 back here. Now the green one, right here, will not be disturbed, except with the beginning D prime. So after I do my D prime, and then my R2 for this red piece here, this piece will end up on the top with white on the front. So my final move solution would be D prime, R2, And then, to insert this piece back here, I would do R, back prime, R prime. Then my orange piece would still be here, and I would do R, U, R prime, U, L2. Now that is a very long solve for the cross, and like I said earlier, I am not perfect at the cross, but that is how I would solve it. And since I can now do that blindfolded, I can be looking ahead to my next F2L pair. So D prime, R2, piece is right here. So I do my R, B prime, R prime to match the third piece. Then R, U, R prime, U, L2. Now I have my first cross. Since I had that memorized, I could be looking ahead for my next pair. Now, I will attempt, rather pitifully, to put this back the way it was. I believe this is it. Now, I would also like to mention one more thing about solving the cross. What you can learn how to do, and figure out how to do, is color neutrality, I guess you would call it. Or building the cross, not necessarily matched up with its correct center yet, but in its correct position relative to the other cross pieces. So if I have blue here, and that's going to move over here, then this piece will move to here, which means that this one needs to be red. So if I found a better solution to have the red next to this piece here, then I would bring it over, and those two would match up. So then green is opposite blue, and I could bring that down there, and then I have three pieces solved. And then the last one, of course, is just match it up and bring this piece down. So as you can see, there are many ways to do that, and so there is no point in trying to teach you any specific case, as there are way more than I could ever possibly imagine teaching you. So, that should be fine for the beginning cross, and remember to always try to get it in 8 moves or less. However, I believe that it's a good idea to be able to do it blindfolded, even if it takes a few more moves, rather than doing it in 8 moves, but not being able to solve it blindfolded. When doing blindfolded cross solves, just remember that you are not aiming for speed when you are practicing it blindfolded. You are aiming to spend as little time as you can memorizing it, but making sure you get it right. So, at the very beginning, when you are first starting to blindfold cross solve, you will probably take 30 seconds to memorize it. But hopefully you can get it down to about 5 to 10 seconds, and then you will be able to spend the last 5 seconds of your normal 15-second inspection time looking for your F2L pair. So I'm going to do an example of a blindfold cross solve. It's not really that interesting to do, meaning it's not interesting to watch, but it can be done easily. So here's the case. I don't think this is going to really mean much, which case I'm doing, but anyhoozle. You can also do a mix of methods, which means you plan out your first few moves, then you know where the last 1 or 2 or 3 pieces will end up, and then imagine it in your head from there. I believe that's done. Cross. There we go. Super magical. Now what you should do, I can't say how many times you should practice this, but just practice it until you can get your memorization down to about 10 seconds, and your cross solve down to about 8 to 10 moves. So now, be sure to go watch F2L, OLL, and PLL if you find the need to.